Well, hello there, my lovelies. It's Trina. Welcome back to my channel. Today's theme is decidedly golden in nature. I have a perfume review for you, and also I'm going to talk a bit about updates with my bags and a pair of shoes, but I'll link that below because we're going to start with the perfume here today. So we're talking about Haramain perfumes, and that brand is known for delivering very reasonably priced fragrances with a Middle Eastern flair, as well as a few decent dupes of expensive niche and designer fragrances. I've delved a little into the brand here and there, and today's review will unlikely be my last from them. I picked up this weighty bottle with substantial packaging that I look forward to reusing as a storage container from Amazon. This hefty bottle was less than $50 and includes a very large dose at 75 ml. Launched in 2018, Junoon Noir is the second of 3 perfumes bearing the Junoon name. The first was just Junoon, and the third, Junoon Rose. This one is an amber floral fragrance targeting women, although I do think guys can wear it. I'm not the greatest fan of florals, but I readily overlook them as the main note when you mention the word amber. The notes are for me, it's the kumquat, resinous woody base, and the Middle Eastern je ne sais quoi in this fragrance that floats my boat. It's deliciously strong, thick, and long-lasting. A great bang for your buck, for sure, if you like it as I do. Interestingly, but not surprisingly, I get a lot of warm melted chocolate in here, and I attribute that to the jasmine and maybe its interaction with other notes. Jasmine has this incredible ability to morph into other things. Another common smell I get from jasmine is sometimes bubble gum, like for example, James Healy's Bubblegum Chic, or perhaps that's the tuberose. Anyway, I also detect some marzipan in here. I say almond paste as opposed to just almonds because the sugar from the lime-laced kumquat has rolled out any possibility of bitterness in here. There's a whipped cream and jam stirred into this mixture too, and the violets add like this soft powderiness. If you like Montal fragrances, you might appreciate this one, and it's much more affordable. I think it's the warm, furry musk in here that makes me think of a Montal. Junoon Noir is not light at all, and I don't mean just conceptually. There's a lot of oil in here, and it will leave a slight trace of stickiness on the skin, so do beware, but it doesn't stain, and I've already used it successfully on clothes where it lasts even longer. Despite the peachy sweetness and weightiness, I feel this is more of a warmer weather fragrance, but not when it's humid perhaps. And I think noir is a misnomer in this particular case. You can easily wear this in the day. And I think I mentioned this before, but some guys might appreciate wearing this as well. I mentioned earlier that Haramain likes to make dupes, and I think in fact that this one is their take of Dama Bianca from Xerjoff, the Casa Moratti line. Xerjoff is a brand that tends to carry a much more serious price tag, and I blind bought this, but I would never, well, you never know, I would never blind buy anything from Xerjoff, but I definitely save up to get a few treats for them, let me tell you. I recommend Casa Moratti's Mephisto. It's better than Creed, I think. Now, I've actually never sniffed Dama Bianca, but my guess is that this is not an exact match. Although I do think Haramain dips into clone territory from time to time, I would place the brand more in the duping category. It could be maybe up to 80% similar though. If you smelled both, comment below. I don't know who the perfumer of this is, but it's probably a house perfumer, maybe even a team effort. In any case, this was a very successful purchase for me, a blind buy. Anytime a fragrance is priced below average and has good performance, I'm going to give it a thumbs up, as long as, of course, as I like the quality of the smell. And this won't please everyone, I think, though. Smells rarely do. Much as I appreciate the box because I can upcycle it, great little storage unit, a lot like Louis Vuitton packaging, I'm not so much a fan of the bottle. It's a thick glass container that could easily bruise or even break your toe if you dropped this on it. And I suppose that the glass would unlikely break. That's a positive. There's a 1980s aesthetic to this bottle as well that did nothing for me 30, 40 years ago, and it's doing nothing for me now. I do get a little Art Deco from here too, which is not always bad. Do you guys notice that in design these days, like graphic design and interior design, postmodernism has made a comeback? I'm sorry, but I'm a mid-century modern Bauhaus or Scandi type of gal. Keep those pink wavy mirrors away, please. Yes, this is going to be decanted as soon as I find an appropriately more pleasing vessel for me. Okay, now let's move on to some updates from my bag and shoe situation. And the theme is indeed gold. So first is my Gianni Chiarini satchel bag, a gum bag that I showed you a little while ago. And I just wanted to show you how lovely this Michael Kors straps goes with this as well. And this is a very adjustable bag, so it fits quite long, and that makes this definitely good for a tall and large lady like myself to wear. The only problem is that this bag is very much like the like what's it called, the Givenchy Antoniga bag, in that the handles don't fold down, they're very stiff. So some might say it's a bit awkward looking to wear this as a crossbody because this does go up. But unfortunately, fortunately I should say, the strap is long enough such that it doesn't look too bad. So it sits fairly low on my hip. But you know, if it's a little bit higher, then this gets into armpit territory. Not very flattering. But this is probably going to be only something I'd chuck in the bag as an emergency. I'd probably wear this mostly top handle and maybe shorten it up so that it dangles better when I hold it, because it matches really nicely, I think. Nice gold and even a little bit of silver flash there. So very pleased with the recognition that I already have a strap that really works well with this. So that's my first bit of gold news. Second gold news is that this beautiful Provenza Schooler bag I revealed to you some time ago has been updated. I decided to bring it to the local leather worker, and this is a different leather worker, but first let me show you the strap. I showed you that temporarily I had been using some like bungee cord hair devices to clip these in place, but it looks very, you know, sloppy. This looks a lot better, but unfortunately the guy didn't have the exact same color match, so he gave me this. He suggested this olive green tone, and that suits me just fine. It looks pseudo-professional, so I'm happy, and he charged me 1,000 yen, which is not a big deal at all. And this leather worker is different from the one you've seen on my channel before, and I wish I'd vlogged the experience, because obviously I'm not a vlogger. I don't take my camera and film stuff when I go out. It's just not my thing. But maybe I should attempt that. I don't know. Don't know if that would be interesting for you guys. But anyway, he's quite a funny guy, and I wish I had put it on film. In Japan, you don't get the same dry humor as you tend to find in other parts of the world. And basically, when I went to pay for it, I'd forgotten what he quoted me, and he said, "Oh well, that's good for me. Then I'll just charge you a couple $100, the equivalent of." And that was cheeky and funny, and I enjoyed it. Anyway, he did a good job, I think. But yeah, this is a new leather worker that is closer to me. I found out that the one I usually go to has closed shop. The person has moved like 4 times since the pandemic started. I hope they're gonna survive, but now they're located in a place, a part of town that's really not convenient for me to get to. So I searched out this more local guy, and I think I'll be going to him moving forward. So the third item I have to share with you is another gold item, but this time it's some shoes from my favorite brand for hot weather, and that is Fitflops. These shoes are uber comfortable, even from the get-go. You don't really have to break them in much if you get the right style. They can be expensive, but I guess these ones were out of season or last season stock or something, because they were, I think, $50 US. I did have them shipped from the US because it's harder to find my size here. even on Amazon. But in any case, these were, yeah, about $50. And as you can see from the image I'm going to show to you here, they match my Proenza Schooler bag perfectly. So now I have a non-black option for shoes, and I can give away or throw away a pair of flip-flops in my collection that is looking a bit tatty. They're pretty much worn through, to be honest. Okay, that is it for my video today. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and like, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.